Welcome. I'm Beth Melton Seabrook. I'm a full-time working artist. I teach and create in this fabulous backyard studio just outside of Charleston, South Carolina. In this series, Tiny Tutorials, we're going to get an inside peek into all the tips and tricks and little fun things that I throw in when I'm working on my mixed media artwork. So, let's jump right in. Hi, welcome to another edition of Tiny Tutorials where we're going to experiment with some things. Today, we're experimenting with stamps. I love using stamps in my mixed media, and traditionally you think of stamps as like these foam kind of things that you find from the craft store, the art supply store, and you know how they work. You just paint right on the surface, and then you press down on whatever paper you're using, and you have a stamp. Today, we're going to go a little bit deeper and make some of our own. But first, I want to introduce you to these stamps that I just got that I love. I've used a few of them. They are by Rubber Moon. Rubbermoon.com is their website. These particular, they have tons and tons and tons. I spent hours on their website, but these particular stamps that I got, these large ones, were designed by Elizabeth St. Hilaire, who is a collage artist that I love. I love everything she does. I've taken a class from her. She's very interesting. You can find her information at paperpaintings.com. But I love everything she does, and she designed these rubber stamps in conjunction with Rubber Moon, and I love using them on my mixed media stuff. Adding backgrounds before I paint or before I put down collage work, or using these, how fun is that? Or using these to do papers. Do some patterns on papers before I start collaging, and I love these so much. But I also like making my own, and here's an example of one that I really like. You can barely see it because I've used it so many times, but I'll give you a quick little example of one that I made using foam. Foam core is the backing, and cutout foam is what you use to make the design. So we're going to do a couple of those today. Here's another example of one. This one is stars, and I'm going to show you some ways that you can add some interest to them. So the things that you're going to need are foam, and I love this adhesive backed foam. It's like just craft foam, and it's sticky on one side. You can find it in the kids craft section at AC Moore, Michael's, Hobby Lobby, any kind of craft and supply store. Then I have a regular sheet of foam core, like you might use for your science experiments, and I've cut it into smaller little sections. So this is, I don't know, 2.5 by 3 inch piece of foam core cut out. And then I have the regular foam that has the sticky back. So what we're going to do is cut a design out of this. I love this design, which you can barely see because I've used it so much. So I'm going to make a new one. And you can use traditional scissors, just regular pair of scissors, or you can use crafting scissors that have a scalloped edge to them, or a design edge to them, which is what we're going to use right now. So to get this kind of eternity circle sort of a look, what you do is cut your foam core with the scallop edge scissors. And this takes a little bit of effort. But I want both sides to be scallop edge, or you can just use the one side that we just did that is straight on one edge and scalloped on the other, but I love this. So the cool thing about this is that you can manipulate the shape that you put it down on the foam core in. So I'm just peeling the back off of the sticky side, and then I'm gonna lay it on the foam core. But watch what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn it as I'm laying it down. So I am turning the piece of foam core that it's going on as I'm sticking it down. So it's laying down in a curve. I'm going to use this other piece to finish it off. And again, I'm just going to start it right where I ended it and curve it as I'm laying it down. And I'm pressing down to make sure all the pieces of the sticky back are adhering to the surface of the foam core. So just turning the piece of foam core as I'm going, and then I'm going to snip this end off, and then I have a little eternity circle sort of a thing. I'm going to add some more to the outside right here and snip that off. So I've got just a little pattern on there that didn't take but a minute to do. Now what I'm going to do is give some texture to it. It's already got some interesting lines on it, but I'm also going to use just a regular ballpoint pen. You can really use anything, a wider point, a ball point that has a fat tip on it is better because it makes more of an indentation. But when you push down into that foam, you get an indentation, and I'm pushing all the way through so that it's going all the way through the foam, that will stay in the foam and leave a pattern on your surface after you've painted it. So I'm just going to go through and put little dots. You can also use a straight pen or safety pin to put that, but it's got a finer tip on it, so it'll make a smaller hole. So once you've got that, you have a stamp. So I'm going to show you what it'll look like once it's on. Once you go to use it on your papers. So I like to use these, like I said, to do papers that I'm going to do collage with, or that I'm going to lay down on my background of a piece of work that I'm getting ready to do, or you can do this right on the surface of your canvas or your wood panel, whatever it is you like to paint on. So here it is with some paint on it. Push it down, make sure all the surfaces of the stamp touch the surfaces of your paper, and then when you pull it up, you've got this cool, interesting stamp. Now that's just one little example of a pattern that you can do. You can also do any kind of circles, stars. This was a cute one that we did when we were going to do little note cards in a class that I taught. So really all you're doing is just cutting out your surface again on the foam, attaching it to the foam core, and then using your pen or your straight edge tipped to make a pattern. So the pattern is the windows, the doors, that sort of thing. And then laying it down on your paper, making sure it presses down. And you have a great little vignette that can be used for note cards, or it can be the background of a painting, or you can use it on collage papers. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you want to find us, you can go to www.elizabethandcoart.com, or you can find us on Instagram at eandcoart, or Facebook, Elizabeth & Co. Art. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.